Or, okay, we're good. Okay, so Richard, this is that coyote. I brought reinforcements so I can hold the video, and so he's using a caribou fleshing knife.
That's the brand.
The what?
The brand.
That's the brand of it. So we're working around the bullet hole here real quick. But we use the rounded side, the concave side, because it's the dull side. So you're just using that to push off the meat. You don't want to use the other side because you'll slice holes in your hide. That's more for like beavers and otters. But for your canines, you want to use that concave side.
For the front legs, usually in the armpit area, that's where you usually leave a lot of meat.
Yeah. So. And Mike, you made this flesh and beam, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just a homemade flesh and beam, but you can get them at Sportsman's if you don't already have it. Makes your job a lot easier to do it this way. And you just slowly rotate it and start from the top and just slowly work your way around. And just flesh off all the meat. And this is not a very fatty coyote. Nice furred, but not very fatty. So you get a nice and fatty one, it actually seems to flesh a little nicer, I think.
Yeah, the grease helps it peel off.
Yeah. So he's just working around that other armpit. And you
don't
see,
have to get it perfectly clean either. You know, the fat you want off, a lot of this real thin membrane meat will dry up if you don't get it 100%. You just don't want no big heavy pieces on it. Important thing too is keep a clean blade.
and so you can see he's holding that hide at the tip with his belly, just holding it there so you don't pull
Lean against it.
Yeah, you don't have to push up hard against it, but you got to lean up against it a little bit. And so you can see, you just slowly work it down.
I'm afraid to put a little tension on it.
Yeah, the coyotes are a little thicker skinned, so you don't have to be quite so fragile. The hides are pretty tough, but you'll learn. The more you do, you'll learn how hard you can and can't push. But if you catch them in snares, you do got to be careful around the area where you caught it with that snare, because it's the hide's a little weaker in those spots.
And the other thing is, if you can do them while they're fresh, you'll have a lot less trouble. Skin them when they're warm if you can. Flesh them in not too much longer is ideal, but it doesn't always work that way. It works that way for us.
Yeah, most of all of our coyotes and everything that we catch are dead and frozen from up here in our snares. So this one actually was shot and then frozen. So the hide work is a little bit tougher.
It's dried out.
Yeah. But you can see it. This is a slow process, but it shouldn't take 2 hours. And then when you get down towards like the end, you're able to just push it all off, and it makes for a nice clean hide.
do this very much. Spend the money and get a good quality knife. Don't buy them cheap ones at Sportsman.
That's coming from experience. How much? That knife's about $60, isn't it?
No, it's a little more, about 85.
Yeah, it's well worth it, Richard. It saves you a lot of time, and it's worth every penny, especially when you start counting your time.
You can just go on and Google up Caribou knives, and you can buy one right off the internet. See how I'm looking? See, the knife isn't flat against the hide. It's got a slight angle, probably about a, I don't know, 20-degree angle to the hide. And you want it steep enough so that it'll catch underneath and roll it.
Takes a little bit of practice to get the hang of the angle, but once you get the angle, it starts going like butter. And
angle at a dangle.
if you don't have that angle right, you'll know it because
It's too steep, you'll hook something and tear it. It's too flat, you won't move nothing.
It just goes off of it, and you're just getting arm exercise.
Like I say, keep your blade clean.
And on a nice, fatty, greasy coyote, it would have been done and over with by now. This thing didn't have much on him. Yeah, Mike's gonna get at me because I left the penis sheath in there. This is how you remove it. And just cut it out. First time I saw him do that to one of my hides, it made me sick.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in penis bones.
Ladies like to make jewelry out of them.
Are there any fur buyers where he's at?
I don't know. Oh, the hide's slipping. Hopefully not. It might be, though.
You'd be surprised once you start doing this how much pressure you actually put on the knife, especially towards the end here to get that last bit of membrane off. See, a lot of times where you start your cut, you'll always get a little line of meat there. You don't get it when you first started skinning. So that's when you really gotta get on them edges and pull them pieces off.
Wow. It's a lot easier to do it on the flesh and beam than when it's on the carcass. It's like, but
Whatever's easiest
yeah.
for you.
It's really easy when I stand here and hold the camera and he does it for me.
Alright.
Okay. You want to let's show how we turn in here.
Turn in here.
Yeah. We grab a broom handle. Where is our broom handle? Right there. There it is. So we just stick it up in.
That's a good blade.
Yeah, it's a good blade. And start down at the base there, right at the cartilage. You can see the cartilage. And that blade only had done one fox, and that's it. I don't know if this is showing up well on the camera or not, but you can see right at the edge of where the hide is and the cartilage.
Yeah.
It takes a little practice to see it.
And once we get farther down the ear, you look right there.
Yeah, you can see right where the knife blade's going, and you just take your time. Sorry, the camera guy is not very good at this.
So that little extra flap of cartilage that you remove. It's one of them things that you gotta kind of do it to understand what we're doing. You do one or two and it's good.
It takes a little practice to see this. I usually start where he's at right now, and it kind of helps me get to where I need to go, starting with that little flap of cartilage that's left on the hide first. But so now you can kind of see that line. And you just whatever this part. So this is where a stiffer blade knife than the Havalon comes in handy to kind of help pull the so you're not really cutting it, but you're just kind of peeling it with the same thing as the fleshing knife. You're just doing a little bit. And you just work your way around, but the broom handle really helps on this aspect. And it's about the right height.
Put your foot on the bristles and hold it.
Yeah, so you stand on the bristles. Just make sure it's not the wife's broom. Hunter.
Traffic, can you repeat? Matt, call me ambulance. Central 6-1, clear and head back to station. 6-1, clear and headed back to station. 956.
Does it feel a little dry?
A little bit. Not real bad.
Another important reason to do this, why it's fresh, it's a little bit easier. The hide comes off of the ear cartilage better.
You can always tell when you get towards the end. You see all the little wrinkle lines up in the tip here. Then sometimes you'll see some dots.
Little red dots normally. And if you see those little red dots, don't go any farther, because you'll peel the hide.
Yeah, it's far enough. The tip's really dry.
Yeah.
And then all you gotta do is
Cut the excess cartilage off down there.
next week. Yeah, all you gotta do is make sure the earbuds are pretty clean.
So you're just kind of fleshing the head a little bit. So you can see he's not cutting towards the hide. If you look at his blade, he's kind of cutting away, but he gets close. And that's about it. That's all you do for that. So I'll pause this and then I'll show you what we do to put them up on the board. So this is what we do for the nose, cutting out the extra cartilage in the nose. No value in more cartilage, so you just put it down, and when you get all the cartilage out of there, it puts on the board a little nicer.
hole in here.
Yeah, I did that with the screwdriver.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. So, well, this says Fox, but it's a little big for a Fox. It's a Coyote board.
Where's the pins?
So we use lots of these metal push pins. Don't do the plastic ones, get the metal ones. They're worth the extra money. And we just start pinning it in the back. So the hind leg there. So you can see the way he's pulling it. Let's see here. There's the, so he goes, and, oh, sorry, I'm not paying attention to the screen. So so you see he pinned it so it's even with the other one, and he'll just cut off the excess. But now he's, so since I put a hole in that, you just pin the hole closed. If you really want to spend the extra time, if it's a really important hide to you, you can sew it back up before it dries.
Use dental floss.
Dental floss and a needle. But I'm just going to use this hide for making a hat or something out of, so not a big deal for me. See, so he's pulling right down on the hips, pinning it.
Central ambulance using quarters at station 61.
And don't be afraid to use a couple pins. No,
Yeah, figure number 534.
I don't know that you could really use too many.
Well, the tail really is dry, huh?
Yeah, that tail's really dry. Didn't pull very good.
Holy cow.
I know.
You cut the lower jaw off?
I know.
I'm proud of you.
I tried to show him for putting it up for market. Cut the lower jaw off. I leave my jaws on normally because I don't really care. It's easier for me. But for market, you want to remove the hide, or not the hide. You want to remove the lower jaw and the penis area. And then this is what we do. We let it hang and dry for a bit, and then we'll turn the hide and pin the ears forward. But right now we hang it like this so that the legs hang straight down, so there's a fox, so you can see that they hang straight down so everything dries out nice and evenly.
You have no
And
wet
for
spots,
there,
they'll slip.
no wet spots, or you'll have more fur on the ground than you will on the hide itself, because it will slip right there. And he's just removing the excess cartilage. We didn't turn the other ear just because this coyote's not going to market, and I'm not going to use the head anyways. But that's basically all you do to put up a coyote. But if you have any other questions, Richard, just shoot me a message or call me, and I'll answer it the best I can.
You gotta put the belly board in.
Oh yeah, don't forget, we're not done. We gotta flip it back over and put the belly board. We almost forgot.
You only need this if you got a solid board.
So the belly board just goes right down the belly, and it stretches the hide out a little bit more, so when the hide does dry, you're able to get it
It's not dried tight to the board.
off of the board. Or you'll do what I did on my first otter and had to break the board and get.
Tell them you only need that if you use a solid board.
So, solid board, you need that. If you use a split board, here's a Coyote split board. So, there's the Coyote split board, and you pin your tail down on that little wedge part in the center. And you don't need a belly board if you use this kind. But